Hello, hello, Eric. How are you? Happy
I'm
Friday.
fine. How are you?
Good. Happy Friday to you.
Same to you. I'm empowered. I'm ready. It's Friday, day 3. I'm back. I told you I was
Wow.
going to come back.
It actually is day 3.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Day 3 of what, though?
Of the executive boot camp, day 3. I feel empowered. I feel energized. I'm ready to go.
Wow. You should. I mean, day 3 is, hey, guess what? You're out.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed every day. I enjoyed everything, and connected, I've networked with several people, including executives. Um, I'm expecting to follow up with 2 executives today. As a matter of fact, network works.
Wow, good. So hashtag, maybe that's a hashtag. And if you would think of a hashtag, what would it be called? What do you think?
Network. It works.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
you had to
very.
shorten it,
Yeah.
network works, hashtag network works. Maybe we'll use that when
Yes.
we get the video out and share it, and you can share it amongst your own contacts on LinkedIn, the professional website where you will find all professionals. And not everyone is at an executive level, but
Yes.
I, as a coach, really truly believe that everyone could benefit from having a coach, or more importantly, if you're listening, make sure you contact me for you or your team to come on and come on through and go through my coaching boot camp for professionals and including at the executive level. So we just want to put that out there. TJV empowers you, the letter u.com. And today is all about Eric. It really isn't about Coach Toy today. So I'm happy that you came back to boot camp. And then it'll be great that if you can share the video, and that would be fantastic. And someone said to me, they said, wow, I saw you out on YouTube. I said, you did? Of course, I have the channel, but they were referring to your coaching session that we have out there. So there are more eyes on you right now, Eric.
I see. Well, that's great. It's great to hear. So I'm global now. If you want to call it that way, everywhere.
Yeah. Yes.
That's great.
You're global.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
correct. And global means inside and outside of the US, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, tell me something specific today for this coaching session. For those who are just will see this video, I want to let everybody know this is the coaching session for Mr. Eric Vincent. It's really O. Eric Vincent. He doesn't use the O, but we call him Eric. And, this is really about career development. So it's not just coaching, but it really has a focus for career development in the format of a boot camp, meaning we're going all 3 days getting it done. Right, Eric?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is day 3. I enjoyed day 1, day 2, and looking forward to day 3.
Great. Yeah. And so to let people know that, and realistically, when I say we can all benefit from a coach, how did you benefit so far from the boot camp itself? I mean, anything in particular that stands out? If you had to think about day 1 versus day 2, was it something that just stood out? You said, well, I just something of value that you will use as a tool from this boot camp?
I think it's more connecting online through LinkedIn. That's the forum that I use, to different or various type of people, executives, directors, IT, business people, and the response that you get is, great. And you feel empowered, you feel good about it, which I do, and that's why I came back here for the 3rd day. Then you post ideas online, or you receive ideas from other people, you like their ideas.
And how so? I'm going to interrupt you for a minute. How so? Because I don't want you to miss that point and people listening to you. Talk about that, what you were doing before boot camp versus now, and a specific tool, because you keep mentioning LinkedIn. And I think if people go back and see your first video, they will realize you were never on social media at all. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. On LinkedIn, what I've done in the past before the boot camp is just go in there, look at various people, just connect, say a few words here and there to them, and keep going. I think most people, especially in IT, they tend to do that, to keep them, engaged, or to keep them current. But it's more than just clicking a button to say connect. You have to, do more work. You have to comment. You have to like. You have to share. And that's what I've been doing. And those, they generated more people online. So some of my friends in IT that I talked to, they have the LinkedIn. They're on LinkedIn, but they are never really active on it. So I encouraged them, and I told them about this boot camp, and they said, "Oh, they're going to do more." So after the meeting, as a matter of fact, I'm going to connect with them and share some posts and let them respond. So it goes, it goes on and on and on. So I really, really enjoyed the 3 days.
How's your visibility level? Because you talked about that was one of the things you were struggling with. And as a coach, I don't sugarcoat it, no sugarcoating coach. And people who will listen to your coaching video, that you are a client now of moi, Coach Toy. Tell me, because I'm going to use the word struggle or challenge in terms of just really connecting with people, other than just saying, click the button to connect. So that you mentioned that was somewhat of a challenge for you. And for other people who may have been struggling with the same thing, what would you say to them?
Well, I'll tell them to, first of all, attend your boot camp. It works. And
there you go.
Because I've had about almost 300 views.
Wow.
From the boot camp that we had yesterday alone.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's close to 300.
That's an applause.
Yeah,
there you go.
Is, it is, yeah. So before, I never got those traction, online. I'm just connecting and keep going and everything. But, now they see the video, they see me, they say, oh, okay. So it works. And it keeps going and going. I'm sure by the time I go back there again, it's going to increase.
Wow.
So that's one of the, fulfilling aspect, yeah.
I had to give you a wow emoji right there. I didn't know what else.
Right, I saw that.
Had to give you a wow, the thumbs up, the wow emoji. And in terms of connecting, so what you're saying, you again honing in on that visibility factor. So are you saying that now you feel that you actually have more visibility all within the 3 days that we connected on this coaching platform, boot camp coaching platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I've had more visibility since the day we started, the boot camp, and a lot more, than, the last, I'll say 3, 4, 5 years, Yeah. I mean, just in 3 days, it's, encouraging. I'm going to encourage my friends, and I'm going to let them know, that this works. Just go in there, and just do your thing, and you see, the result. And thanks to Coach Toy, who challenged me to do this, and I, responded. She gave me some tips. I went through the tips. I followed it. Followed up with people, and you can see the result, based on the video that we had yesterday. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you explained that perfectly for people, because a lot of times people go through coaching boot camps. This is nothing new. It's just you happen to be connected with me as a client. And again, whether you're, the true professional, no matter what level you are, all the way up to executive level, the senior VPs, et cetera. People, business owners, authors, speakers, they come, on my platform, but most of the time I connect with people through my podcast. So when I decided to do the boot camp, and I know we had talked about it off camera, I said, hey, you need to come to my boot camp, right? Because I've known you for a long, long time.
Yep.
And so people who know you and I, yes, we do share part of the last name. So if that doesn't give you a hint, I don't know what does, whoever's listening. But at any rate, I just wanted you to come on and just really, benefit from developing your career. Well, really to elevate your career development, personal development, and professional development, because you've been in IT. When we say IT, for those who may have an interest in your background, or maybe you speaking in their group or joining their group, for that matter, they may be looking for you in terms of the next opportunity in your life. Tell us, what do you actually do? I mean, just in a nutshell, what has been your, what you've been focused on in terms of career? I know we say EDI. Can you just
Yes.
briefly that field?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I've been focused on EDI, which means electronic data interchange, specifically for the 834 benefit enrollment and maintenance industry. And with this, what I do is pertaining to benefits, medical, dental, vision. And
say that again. Say that you said
medical, dental, vision, and life.
Okay, employee benefits.
Employee benefits and all the ancillary benefits. We take those information in from clients. We load those information into our system, program the information and send the results to the carriers, like the MetLife.
Whoever the companies are.
Carrier, For example,
we won't mention companies.
Okay. So that's what I do. And in between those processes, there are things behind the scene that we automate to send those information on a weekly basis, for example, and those information are encrypted and sent through various FTP clients. And at the same time, we get results back from the carriers, and they come back and say, oh, there's something wrong. There's more to it than what I'm describing. But in a nutshell, we send files from our system to the carriers. There's programming involved in the middle, and the results, it's a continuous thing every week.
So you are, you classify yourself as a programmer, a developer, engineer?
Yeah.
What, in case somebody's listening, what would you?
Yes, I'm a developer, and a developer, we automate the process so that every week when the files go out, you don't even have to touch it, unless something's wrong. Then you have to go research as to what the issue is. And within a few, maybe a couple of hours, resolve it and send it back to where you need to send it to.
Good.
And that's what I do.
Good, because I know that I see it out there all the time on LinkedIn and other places, and of course through you kind of explaining it to me what you were doing. But a lot of people, when we say IT, we hear the word programming all the time. Software engineers, hardware engineers, if you will. Analyst is a big one that comes up. And I say with the analyst piece, which I believe that's in your background, whether it's business or IT, for boot camp purposes, how do you think being an analyst helps you to elevate your career development in terms of just analyzing things in general? Do you think that helps? Because we have talked about that. If so,
because yes, no, thank you for asking. Yeah, it does help, a lot, because some of the processes that we do in between getting the information, programming it, and sending it to the carriers involves analysis. You get a structure, you analyze the structure. If something is wrong, you recommend, what needs to be done or what we need. You go back and forth. So analysis is part of the process. I didn't want to go into details of how it does. Then in between that, say for example, you send a family information to the carrier, and somebody is missing from those. You have to do a research as to why somebody's missing or somebody's not added. You know what I mean? So like a child is born, you have to put a child into the family.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
it goes
a
on
good
and on.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And again, without proprietary information, again, we're
Right.
just being generic and respectful for,
Right.
people that are watching, because you've been out there, people know this obvious is on your profile,
Right.
and things like that, what you do. And that's great. In terms of the interviewing skills, it looks like you describe perfectly what you do. I think what happens is, and from a coaching perspective, most people, they can care about for 2 minutes what you really do, but what they
Right.
want to know even more, I mean, for the technical piece, they want to know exactly what you do. You described it, and more or less in detail. That's fantastic. But do you struggle, or have the challenge been for you is to really be able to say who you are really, meaning the focus on you as an individual for personal development, and then which spills over to career development? And so that's where, do you see how the two should connect? And if so, have you had some issues around that? Just kind of figuring out, well, I know what I am technically, I know what I do from a technical standpoint, but what about the YOU in general?
Yeah, in general, I've never really focused on me. I just know this is my name, this is my title, this is what I do. So I can explain what I do, for hours and hours and hours. But in terms of me, so I've never really focused too much on me. In the beginning of the boot camp, I told you that I work behind the scene, and one of my reasons for coming to the boot camp is to be out there.
Okay, you're sort of frozen right now. So, for those of us are listening, your screen is frozen. Eric's screen has frozen. We'll try to get him back. We can't hear him. Nothing, he's frozen. So with that said, I want to say that, this is the boot camp. And this particular boot camp really focuses on career development and such. So in essence, if you were interested in developing your career development, personal development for growth, for success, that's really what we're doing. And essentially, having Eric join me in the boot camp, essentially what happens is we were trying to take him from a standpoint of he was only really visible to the employers, but outside of the employers, he had no other real identity to focus on, what are the other things in his life, professionally, personally, and how to grow. So that's really what was going on as a client. Okay, so we have Eric back. We obviously had some technical difficulties. We lost you, Eric, for a moment, but as the host, look, I do this for a living. I'm a podcast host. It happens. Technology is not always the best. It looks good, but it doesn't always work. So, us broadcasters, one thing we don't like is dead air. That's why I kept talking. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Hopefully the signals are back. I was letting everyone know one of the major reasons why you were coming and joining a boot camp, decided to seek me out. You already know who I am.
Yes.
For years. And now, of course, I, with the background in HR, and started to do all of the podcast shows, but my real background, well, I shouldn't say real, but my primary background has always been HR. So I've always been fascinated, not only to match major, talent to major corporations, which is what I did as a talent acquisition professional, but really focusing more now with people like yourself who are struggling or had some challenges, whether it was in the past, whether it's current, doesn't matter to me. I just want to help you. So, and that is mostly to identify who they are really, other than their job, meaning other than your title as IT engineer, EDI, IED, all of those things. At the end of the day, they sound great, but you still have to focus on who you are and what are some of your goals career-wise, right? Because
Yes,
nothing's really promised. I mean, people get laid off all the time. It's sometimes, most often it's unexpected. Sometimes it isn't. People like to move around, take their talent elsewhere. And, but you need to be able to understand why you're doing that in the first place, right? You know,
yes,
if there's no growth, then maybe I need to move on to something else.
yeah, I agree.
If the money doesn't match, if the salaries doesn't match, maybe I need to move on to something else. So that's what I hear a lot of people struggle with, because they're like, well, I've been doing my job for, almost 20 years. I'm still doing the same thing. And now if you find yourself no longer employed, you have no clue of what to do. Where do I start? How do I network? So thank you for the beginning. You said that networking is working for you.
That's correct.
So before we had a slight challenge of the technical piece and we lost you for a minute, you were saying how LinkedIn, you're on there more. This is your final day of boot camp. We're really excited. I am excited over here for you, because it sounds like you have progressed only within 3 days.
Most definitely, I have, like I said, before we started, I'm just going to LinkedIn to connect, just write a few lines, of comments. But now you're being viewed and they see my picture, they see the face, so that's encouraging. And they see it all over the globe, actually,
Good.
And yes, this is it's great. And this is in the last 3 days, you know what I mean?
Good.
So, it's working out fine. I mean,
Good.
It's exciting, you feel like
Good.
you're empowered, which I am,
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's a good feeling.
Good. And you should feel great, because you're doing something for who?
For yourself, for me.
Right. Capital Y.
You.
You.
Yep.
And the piece of that, which I was trying to say to you when we were coaching, is about the high visibility, but also to maintain it. It's one thing to network, but you have to really, networking is not about, I need a job when I lose a job. That has nothing to do with networking, absolutely nothing. Because most people, when they lose a job, if they haven't been networking all along, they will find themselves in the struggle zone to connect with people, and not only connecting with people all year long, in and out. You're not on social media 24/7. Some of us are. I'm on multiple platforms because it's what I do. It's part of who I am as a speaker, as a coach, as an HR professional, and as a podcast host. I'm always on social media.
Right.
But you can tailor that if you've chosen one platform, and you've chosen to be on the professional LinkedIn platform, which is fantastic. But go ahead, I would encourage you to learn more about the platform so that you are not wasting your time on the platform. Okay, so you don't want to get caught up into the likes and the comments. You want to navigate your way around the system. Okay.
Yeah, which I've done in the last 3 days. It works, I feel comfortable with it,
Good.
And, yeah.
Good.
Everything's coming back to me based on, the last time I went there,
Yeah. But the button will say red, telling you have notifications, telling you you have messages. So it is somewhat of a constant thing, but you don't want it to consume your every being all day long, because you would never get anything else done. And let's face it, you're in the wonderful world of work. So you don't have that time to do that. But I encourage you, like we said, one of the things that you told me you didn't have on your phone, you never had the app on your phone. And so maybe you're at your computer desk all day long, you're working, you're doing your thing for the employer, but you didn't have an app. So even if there were opportunities, even if someone wanted to connect with you to invite you to a conference in IT or something like that, you didn't have the access because you had the account, but you weren't current. You didn't use it. In essence, you just loaded up your information to that platform and walked away.
Yeah, but now I have it,
Now you got it.
I get everything from, I have it. I have it set up and it's working fine.
The
the way I
app
want
is working. How are you doing with the app? You're navigating the app?
Yeah, I'm navigating through the app on the phone or through the laptop, depending on where I am, on the outside. And one of the reasons why I chose not to put it on the phone is because of what you said. You're working, from a certain time, say 9 to 5, for example, and you don't want to keep going in there and doing things and distracting, I said, okay, let me limit it to the laptop as opposed to both, So that's one of the reasons. But now, I mean,
well, we talked about that. It's time management. Exactly. It all comes down to time management. Okay. And so, again, the focus for career development becomes more on you versus the employer that you work with. The focus comes to you. And so that when you find yourself, you or any other person that may be listening to this wonderful video coaching session with Eric today, Mr. Eric Vincent, who is an IT professional. He has been for a number of years. I'll just say that there. And if you want to learn more about him, you can go on and look at his profile on LinkedIn at o.ericvincent, and he lays it out about his background in IT, but specifically in the wonderful world of electronic data interchange, AKA EDI. So you can learn more about him. And if you have a focus group and you might want him to speak in your group and things like that, he would be a great asset to come into your group and talk about his experience in the wonderful world of EDI. So we're going to leave that there and move on because we're going to be wrapping it up. As I said, this is your last day of boot camp. So let's go ahead and try to wrap this up. Few things, and I always give you the tips before we leave.
I'm going to write this down.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure everybody knows you're going to write it down.
Oh, yeah. I need to follow up with it, so.
Because they're probably saying, oh, he better write it down because that's the no sugarcoating coach. Isn't he in a boot camp?
Yeah. I know you're going to follow up with me. Now I want to make sure, I have everything all, jotted down so I can, let's go through them.
Okay.
Once you follow up on them.
Yeah. Well, the things are really what happens is, people write things down all day long and then they look at it and then they walk away. And I find this, because people learn in different ways, right? And so for me, I'm very visual. So I do write things down, but, and I'll look at it and then I'll reevaluate it. And I try to remember the key focal points of what was said in the session. So I say to my clients, if you're out there, maybe you're at an event and you're just sort of chatting it up with some just everybody there, from all different walks of life, areas, industries, you're not going to remember everything. And these days, you're not going to find a lot of people just handing out business cards. So this is why what we were talking about in your case is you weren't on any social media. And the one platform that you have a profile, you didn't use it. You were an inactive user, right? So now you're going to take all your creativity and you'll be able to say, wow, I have my app. I can check in. I can see what things are coming up. And then you become more organized. That's where you want to get to. And I believe you're on your way of getting there. You did you followed the steps through the boot camp, which is great. So the fact you're writing things down now, what we're going to get into, again, before we close, that's really good. But I just don't want people to write things down, but not act on it. Just like I didn't want you to have a profile out there, but not be active. So the main thing is being active.
That's great. I always write things down and follow up with those things. I'm going to act on them because they always say practice make perfect. I always say practice make permanent. Once you act on it,
practice makes permanent.
Permanent, yes.
Oh,
which means, when you practice and practice and practice, it's just going to be like a second nature to you in what you
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well,
very-
maybe we need a hashtag. I mean,
yeah,
you've been
maybe.
coming up with a lot of hashtags all day. I hope you put out your post and you have it there.
Yeah, I have
Well, and we talked about this. If you do 1 or 2 posts per week, if you're starting out with even 1 per week,
Right.
it's better than not. If you're trying to, again, your main thing was you had a profile up until boot camp that was more or less inactive for all intents purposes. And so what you find in your inbox, which all of us do, is that jobs are always coming. People are always pushing jobs in your face through LinkedIn, right?
Right.
Or they're inviting you to attend something, right?
That's correct. And I've been ignoring most of them,
Mhm.
in the past, until recently,
Okay.
Yeah, when they come in there, you say, oh, okay, I have a job, No, but, you can look at opportunities while you have a job, So,
Mhm. Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with looking, and it's really in one's time when they decide to choose what is the next steps for them. And what it really means is you're absorbing information. And even if you're not in the job market, but there may be an opportunity where if you have other colleagues or former colleagues, and you say, wait a minute, this may be a good opportunity for them. And then you share it. And that means you're networking. You're saying, hey, I'm sending you this because I saw it. I'm not particularly in the job market right now or anything like that, but that's a part of networking. So you become,
yes.
you see what I mean?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's go through this momentarily, and then again, it's going to be a wrap up. So we're going to talk just briefly, since you have all those other things down, we did talk about the visibility. You're there. You started on that road for that. You've made some progress within the 3-day of your boot camp. I'm very excited for you that you did that. And I only want you to continue to do that. We're talking about KPI. Have you heard of KPIs before? And if not, it's okay. I'm just asking. Okay.
No.
Well, KPI in terms of key performance indicator, right? So if when you get off of, out of this coaching session, you can Google all you want. You can pull that up even on LinkedIn and see what that means and how it can relate to you. But what I'm saying is, I've always said that the key performance indicators, really think about it. When you hear key performance indicator, what do you think it might mean? Just in general.
The important performance indicator, like the key, that's the way I look at it. When you say key performance indicator, like what they are focusing on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Key
Specifically. Yeah.
Specifically.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's where, but when we say we're indicating something, right? We're looking, what does it tell us? That's what we're saying. What is it? The key performance indicators. What is the information about this person's performance?
Yes.
Right? In the workplace.
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
Have you had a performance review in your life?
Oh, yeah, definitely I have. The performance review. Yes, I have.
Okay. So when you think about key performance, what is when we're thinking about key?
Yeah, the highlights of what you've done before the performance evaluation, for the year, because this happens every year. And yeah, the highlights of what you've done, and what the activities and,
yes,
what you've done for the year,
And when they're doing a performance, when they're checking that out, there's another word, it starts with an E, just like Eric does. It's really, thank you.
Right.
Say it again for people in the back that couldn't hear you.
Evaluation.
Right.
Evaluating you, yeah.
Right. And so guess what? Now that you said evaluation you, I'm going to bring that right back to you and say evaluate capital YOU throughout your career, rather than sitting and waiting for someone else, an employer or your friends or your
Right.
family to evaluate you. I'm bringing it right back to the coaching round, because we're all about, it's really starts with you from within.
Yeah.
What are you learning? How are you learning? What are you going to do to get there? How are you going to elevate your career status? It's almost like a series in a book or a program. What are
Right.
you doing to get the key performance indicators and keep them as high as possible? Right?
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
performance, if they say on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you perform last year? And on a scale of 1 to 10, you might say you performed a 9. Your employer may come back and say, no, I see you as a 7 or an 8.
Right.
Where does that leave you then? It leaves you to start from the mindset of evaluating you.
Right.
Capital Y-O-U. It's internal. It's your mindset. It's how you do things. What haven't you done? You have to own up to what your own faults or challenges are. And you need to be able to communicate that to employers, current employers, future employers, whomever you're working with. It doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
And that's where the key, I wanted, and I only brought this up for KPI is what it's called, but
Yeah.
because you can do your own KPI on yourself.
That's correct. Yes, I agree.
There's always someone evaluating us, always.
Yeah.
Your profile is sitting on a major platform. And when you're communicating with people, other professionals on that platform, we have people that are on LinkedIn from as early as high school, which I mentioned that in the first session.
Right.
So it's not always seasoned professionals. They're coming right out of high school. Before they get out there, they're talking to career advisors. By the way, if there's anyone listening out there, I'm happy to, do a coaching session as a career advisor. If you need me, everybody call me. TJV empowers you, the letter u.com, or inbox me on LinkedIn if you want to invite me to speak to your group. But yeah, key performance indicators doesn't have to start with your current or future employer. It really should start with you. We have to learn more about, boot camping ourselves. And so you can really build on what you're good at and what you're great at and what your challenges are. But the goal is to keep those KPIs high as possible. And you may have to edit and tweak a bit of what's going on in your life, because we all have a personal life. Your life can't be your career, although sometimes people will make it that way.
Right.
I don't encourage people to do that, but I know a lot of people who are like that. And some people are just trying to do better with that. Applaud to them. But you still have to understand about who you are. In coaching, that's what we're looking for. So you need to who you are and how are you going to move from point A to point Z in a positive direction, meaning you have some challenges along the way. Maybe you're not as, up to date on different technologies. That means you have to go and seek out the information to become more familiar. If you're moving into a different direction with a different IT tool for you, I'm just speaking for you because you're in IT, then that means you're always learning, right? And if you're always learning, that means you're always progressing.
Yeah, progressing up to date,
Yeah. So any question or comment about KPIs before we close?
No question at all. That explains it very well. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're going to start to evaluating yourself, your performance.
Yes, I will do that. Oh yeah. Yes, I will.
Mm-hmm.
After the training, I plan on starting right away. I'm not even waiting, Yeah.
Good. So that's really what I have for now, for you and for your boot camp that you have gone through 3 days. And if you start back from day one until today with your KPIs,
Right.
what level are you giving yourself?
Well, I'll say level 8 actually, because on LinkedIn, I've seen so many, it's amazing how people that I've connected with, people, the posts that I've made, the executives that I've reached out, in terms of communication and posting and likes and networking and updating, it's been great. The views have been, incredible.
What have you
So,
learned about you in 3 days?
Well, when I started, I told you, I've worked behind the scene most of the time, and now I want to be visible. That was my first. That's what I told you at the beginning. But now, it looks like it's just 100% growth since then, which is a great feeling for me. So I enjoyed it. I liked it. People are noticing me more, and sending me information every second. Every time I blink, I get information, from several people that I've connected with and other people, other organizations. It's been great. Like I said, networking is a lifelong, process.
Yeah.
And you have to just keep going.
What have you learned? The most important thing you've learned about yourself personally by taking this boot camp?
That I have so many resources and so much, to expand on. Yeah, expand on.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to just, focus on, what I'm doing, like on a daily basis.
The traditional 9 to 5, or even if you decide to become an entrepreneur or what have you. And why do you think though, because people are going to listen to this and they're listening to what you're saying, what you've learned about yourself coming through the boot camp, but what kind of, advice or suggestion that you would put out there to other professionals like yourself, where that focus becomes more on you, learning more about your own personal KPIs. What would you advice or something briefly, what would you say as we close?
First of all, I will encourage them to attend your executive bootcamp. And they will see for themselves, that, there's a whole underworld out there in terms of, visibility. And it brings up more ideas when you start seeing things around you. So wait a minute, I can do this. Wait a minute, this is what I've been doing. Or wait a minute, you have so much ideas and you can go from there and just grows like wind, and, it's they're very, encouraging. Very, very demanding, but it's worth it.
No, we can go back to that because I heard that. I'm the no sugarcoating coach. I leave no stone unturned. You mentioned the word demanding.
Right.
And the boot camp is somewhat demanding, but it's more demanding of your own time. But you've made it your business to be a part of a boot camp. People just don't sign up for boot camps for nothing.
Oh yes, I agree.
I mean, they run away from boot camps. If you say the word boot camp, they usually run away.
Yeah, in the beginning, I told you I never run away from challenges or boot camp or anything. So I always, as a matter of fact, I look forward to it. New programs, new opportunity. It's exciting to me to see what's out there. So I never run away from anything. So I attended those stuff. Yeah, it's great. I'll encourage my colleagues and people out there to just attend it and see for themselves,
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you one more time, with all of that you said, all that positivity, all of that energy, all your KPIs, your personal KPIs, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you, Mr. Eric Vincent? Right
now, I'll say I'm a 10, if I can say
that. He got it.
I'm a 10, I have to maintain it. Yes,
Give yourself a hand. You have to applaud yourself. There will be people in life this is one of the strongest things that I find with clients. They never pat their own selves on the back. They never applaud the many goals that they've achieved. And that's where that KPI, personal KPIs come in.
I think one of the reasons for that is because, like I said before, I work in the background and everything, right? People see you. They know how you work. They like how you work. They know, your strength.
Mhm.
And sometimes management doesn't see that. You know what I mean? But people that you work with on a daily basis,
Well,
see
when you're distinguishing between management and I believe what you mean is you mean colleagues, especially when you're working on a team. That's a different ballgame. It doesn't mean that management doesn't see you. It's that everything is electronically going on. And so a lot of us, like yourself, like you said, if you're working from a home office, it's hard to have people to actually walk into your office and say, hey, this guy's got his head down all the time, or she's got her head down all the time. They're consistently busy, which, by the way, doesn't really mean you're productive because you're busy.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you're working as a team, and you don't stand out from that team, based on what you do. So, but like I said, the focus is on you. It doesn't have to be work alone. You go and evaluate yourself, and just let it go.
Yeah, well, there's three things: career development, professional development, and most important, personal development.
Yeah.
You cannot be one-dimensional. I say this to clients all of the time. It doesn't matter what the level of experience you are within an organization. If you are only one-dimensional, even when you're in an organization, that by itself can be problematic at some point. So that's why I encourage my clients, learn all that you can, including up to and including executive level professionals. Learn all that you can, as much as you can, about the business. Understand how the business and the mission of the company that you are working with. If it's not your company, that means you're working for someone else. So you need to understand how the business runs, especially for my IT clients, really, because it seems like a lot of times IT client, they typically, or IT professionals in general, and I'm only generalizing this, not all, but it's just a generalization, is that if you're working, your head's down, you're doing all of these things, but it's all electronic, it's just, you're moving with numbers and data all day long, analysis. You don't even see the people that you're moving the data around. You don't even see those people. So until something's wrong, then all of a sudden, everybody, including management, now they see you. You want to get noticed, just do something wrong. That's what I'm saying. Have a problem, everybody's there, right? Now you got 500 emails, everybody, oh, wait, what happened? I've been doing well, and now you got 500 emails. Hey, what happened, Eric?
Yeah, you're right.
That's how we want to move away from that. But the challenge is, what I would challenge you to do and encourage you to do is start really focusing more on not only career development, but also check out professional development. Learn all that you can outside of what you actually do for work. You can connect with people for personal development. You want to say, hey, let me connect with just a few. You don't have to connect with everyone. You can have 500 contacts. If they're not doing anything for you, it makes no difference. None. It's just how many contacts you have, 500. Now, 501 comes in and you can't bring them in, the one that can actually help you or lead you to, to a better place or space, if you will. Now you can't connect with them because the system says, I'm sorry, Mr. Vincent, your mailbox is full. I'm sorry, Mr. Vincent, you can't add anymore. That means if you can't add, what is the opposite?
Subtract.
If you can't add it, it's subtracting. Or in these terms on social media, it's delete. Unfollow. Right? So what I want you to make sure and focus on is not necessarily the number of people, but the value that people may add to your career, personal, and professional goals. And with that said, that's all I have. And I want to thank you so much for going through the Career Development Executive Coaching Boot Camp, which is not only for executives. This boot camp is for all professionals, including executives. How about that? I'm Toy Johnson-Vincent, your no sugarcoating coach. I wanted to thank my client today, Eric Vincent. Just give everybody a hi and a bye, Eric. And wanted to say thank you so much. We do wish you well and success, because I know it's in your future. It's probably, as far as I'm concerned, you already are successful, but you're going to continue on the path of success. Hopefully through the boot camp, you've learned all about and more about capital Y-O-U, which is you. Hashtag. Excellent. So again, for all of those who may see this video, it will be out on YouTube. By the way, you're a star now, Eric. I don't know if you know this, but you're a star on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you know.
And so it's going to be out there. You can share it on your LinkedIn to your contacts. Let people know what you've been up to for 3 days. It's been a challenging 3 days, but hopefully a lot what you and I have dialogued will help someone. That's why I decided to go ahead and share it. You know, so I do offer individual coaching in groups that people will not have access to. So you've been one of the first client that I've actually put out there globally. And the next thing, hopefully you'll be a guest on my podcast show. And then you can talk a little bit more about that and maybe some stories of resilience in your life, whether that's career, you know, personal or professional things that have happened, but with the line and theme of resilience. So guys, it was great having you, Eric, and to my audience and those who are listening, I appreciate you. Make sure you, if you're interested in having me speak, as I mentioned earlier, make sure you go to my website, TJV empowers you, u.com. I'm on all social media platforms, including Facebook, my page, and my personal profile. You might want to connect with me on my page instead. Instagram, LinkedIn, I'm there. O.Eric is there. Connect with him as well if you have opportunities you want to discuss with him, or just really having a conversation, or have him speak in your group. He knows a lot about electronic data interchange, has many years in background experience, and would love to be a part of a group, and especially if it has to do a lot with analysis. And for me, make sure you connect with me and inbox me to invite me to your next event. If you're looking for a speaker, a coach, or last but not least, I am the host of Speak to Me First podcast show. You want to be a guest? Go ahead and inbox me via LinkedIn as well, or Facebook. All right. So Eric Vincent, I had to say the whole thing. You go by Eric. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today in this boot camp. And by the way, you will be receiving a certificate of attending my boot camp. Yes.
That's great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
You're welcome.
3 days. Yes, I did.
You're welcome.
I feel empowered now, to tell you the truth.
You should. You're empowered. Yeah, he's empowered. Yes. So make sure you share. You'll share it out. I'll give you the link. You'll be on YouTube. You're a star now. And you know, if you're having something on your page, I'll be happy to join in there. Maybe we can do a live from your LinkedIn page at some point as well. So as I say, when I end all of my broadcasts, success is in your future. Bye for now.